Marnie's going to talk a little bit about our International Baccalaureate program. We're going to kind of go through all of the programs, about 5 to 10, well, about 10 minutes or so for each program. Then we'll have some questions at the end, and we'll get contact information as well, so you can carry on conversations and exploring these opportunities beyond tonight. So Marnie, do you want to take it away?
Sure. Thank you very much, Mr. Brannigan. Can I just have people give a thumbs up if you can hear me? Is my mic working well and I'm coming in loud and clear? Great. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to present my screen. Hopefully. Okay. Can you confirm that you can see my screen? I can't see you. So if Mr. Brannigan, can you guys see my screen?
I can see it perfectly. Looks
Okay,
great.
thank you very much. Okay, so I wanted to start off by saying that I am actually the IB coordinator for our International Baccalaureate Diploma Program at the high school, but I'm also the mom of an 8th grader. So I'm in the same position as a lot of you tonight. Well, I'm not just hearing about these programs, but just starting to think about these programs as my actually youngest child is moving from 8th grade to 9th grade. So a little bit about the IB Diploma Program. This is something that we've had at Queensbury. Our current senior class is our 7th cohort to graduate from the IB Diploma Program at Queensbury. We've worked really hard to kind of always reflect and expand and make the program as good as we can get it. It is an international program. So that means students all over the world are taking the same classes and studying the same curriculum that our students at Queensbury are studying. So it's really interesting to think that if you're taking an IB math class or an IB French class or biology, that students in China and Finland and South Africa are studying the same courses that you're studying right here at Queensbury. This is our Queensbury mission statement, and I always like to include this slide to talk about how it's kind of embedded in our mission statement that we want our students to be lifelong learners and contribute to the global community. So when we applied to be an IB school, we actually had to submit our school mission statement. And a lot of times IB actually sends it back to the school and says, you need to update and improve your mission statement because it doesn't really align with the IB philosophy of educating all students for a better world. But we actually did not have to do anything to our mission statement. So I think that speaks volumes for just what we expect from our students and what sort of plans we had already before we even became an IB school. So the International Baccalaureate Program is an academic program, and it is fairly rigorous, and it actually does not take place till junior year of high school. So as parents of middle schoolers, we're just right now, we don't want anyone to make any decisions tonight, but we just want you to know that this is an opportunity for students as they move into 11th grade. So right now I've been talking with a lot of our 10th graders who are choosing their classes for next year. And that's the time you really want to make the decision. But you want to kind of know a little bit about what it's about so that you can maybe plan for 9th and 10th grade and what classes might be the best opportunities for you to set yourself up for the IB program. It really was designed to be a college preparatory program. So diplomats from all over the world really wanted to have their children have opportunities that they would have had at home, but they also wanted them to have an international perspective. So what they really wanted their kids to be ready for college when they were going to pursue college courses. So we tell any student who's considering going to a four-year school that you might want to think about doing the IB Diploma Program. It does focus on not just the academic component, but it does focus on emotional and social skills for students to basically be able to communicate and live in our ever increasing globalized world. I did talk about it being a college prep program, and this is a slide we're pretty proud of. These are all of the colleges thus far. I actually have to make the font smaller every year, where all of our students from Queensbury, from our IB Diploma Program, have been accepted or have attended college. So I'm currently adding to this a little bit every day as our seniors are getting their acceptance letters and deciding where they're going to go to school. But just to give you an idea of the scope of where our students are bringing their IB Diploma Program, we have students that have been accepted at international universities all of the SUNY schools, a lot of schools in the Northeast, and some of the more rigorous Ivy League colleges. So if a student is in 8th grade and thinking about maybe this might be something for me, we actually encourage you to challenge yourself and to take rigorous courses. So for example, moving into 9th grade, you can opt to take 9H English. Students, once they move into 10th grade, they'll have the opportunity to take their very first AP class, which is AP World History, or they could take an Advanced Regents Chem class. We also encourage students who might be thinking about doing this to get some of those high school graduation requirements out of the way that they'll be talking about at the end of this program, specifically health and their music and art credit, because sometimes when kids choose the diploma program, they want to take, some rigorous coursework. They don't have room to fit that. So we ask kids to kind of think about getting those credits done with before they start the diploma program. And then IB has a foreign language requirement. All students are expected, because it's an international program, to also study a language of acquisition. So if you're currently taking French or Spanish, we encourage you to continue with that as well. And this slide is the IB learner profile. So these are the 10 characteristics that IB focuses on with the students. And I do tell my students who are thinking about doing this, a lot of times they think if they're not number 1 or number 2 in the class, they shouldn't be an IB student. And that's really not true, because they're really looking for students that are reflective and communicators and risk takers, open-minded, and thinkers and balance. So this is really kind of the heart of the IB program. You'll have lots of opportunities to hear more about this program, because like I said, we can't do this until their junior year. So there'll be other options, other times for them to learn a little bit more about it. We actually do let students take a little sample IB class if they're interested in it. But this is really just kind of a taste for tonight. And I will be available for the question and answer period in case anybody has anything they want to ask me specifically.
Thank you, Marnie. I think Dan popped in. Dan, are you here for New Visions?
I am. Sorry I'm late. My daughter had a math test tomorrow and I got stuck helping her out. So here I am. Am I ready to go now?
You are. You've got a few minutes now. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
No problem at all. My name's Dan Kittle. I actually run the New Visions engineering program through BOCES. We actually have 2 programs offered at the BOCES in the New Visions program. One is the engineering program that's primarily for students interested in anywhere from biomedical through chemical, mechanical, environmental sciences, any engineering or related discipline. Our students are primarily focused on a 4-year college experience, aiming for that undergraduate degree in engineering. In addition to the engineering program, we also have a New Visions Health Careers program. Again, a big focus is a 4-year degree, in that case, in a medical related field, anywhere from nursing, physician's assistants, veterinary science, all the way through oncology, getting an MD or a DO, anything related to the medical field. Both programs are academically rigorous, so they're preparing students for the college experience in an engineering or in a medical field. For the engineering program, we focus on core academics, that's AP Calculus and AP Physics. And then we offer credits in engineering sciences and career exploration. So again, it's a chance for students in the classroom to explore different fields of engineering, do a little bit of targeted experience or targeted research in a specific field they might be interested in. For example, we've had students that are interested in computer science and code writing. So a lot of our students will explore that specifically. Students that are interested in biomedical engineering, for example, might work on a prosthetic device as a project in their senior year. So the focus for the engineering program, and indeed for both the medical or health careers New Visions program or in engineering, is not only providing an experience for the senior year to prep for that college experience, but also to start staging their careers 2 and 3 and 4, 5 years down the road, so that they have a really good sense for what kinds of job opportunities are available, what kinds of work experience they might enjoy or might not enjoy. So that's a primary focus for our programs and New Visions. They are senior year programs, so students will apply in the 11th grade. During the 12th grade year, when they're in the program, they spend about 3/4 of the day at the New Visions classroom. Usually what that means is that there's an hour or two, and I think if Queensbury's running a block schedule, typically it's one block where the students will have a course at Queensbury, and then they head over to our campus either in Hudson Falls or in Glens Falls for the health program. So within these programs, students will also receive a lot of immersive, authentic experience, not just via projects or dissections in the classroom for the health program, but also by going out into the field. So in engineering, we offer site visits to about 20 to 25 companies throughout the Glens Falls and Saratoga region that are opportunities for students to meet engineers, see different work environments for the engineering field. In the case of the health program for New Visions, students will go on clinical rotations. They typically go on about 60 to 75 days or so throughout the senior year on authentic clinical rotation experiences, similar to many of the experiences that kids that are going into a medical degree in college will experience. So they might visit the OR one day. Some students will visit a veterinary office another day. Maybe it's dentistry. Maybe it's a different doctor's offices day to day. But they take these authentic opportunities to really learn and see what the day-to-day experience is like for people in a health careers field. Again, in the case of the engineering program, I mentioned the key academics are AP Calculus and AP Physics, in addition to engineering, sciences, and career exploration. In the health program, their key academic pieces that are preparing them for a medical related major in college are primarily anatomy, physiology, and medical terminology. In addition to that, for the health program, those students will also receive a credit for honors English as well as an econ government sequence in the senior year. So the short story is these are really academically rigorous programs that don't only focus on that academic preparatory piece, but also give students a really good sense for what the authentic engineering or health-related field is going to be like, not just by doing projects in the classroom, but also by taking authentic visits to either clinical rotations for the health program or visits to local engineering companies for the New Visions engineering program. I will stick around in the chat in case there are any specific questions about these New Visions programs. Again, quick reminder, they are for seniors, so students typically apply in the 11th grade. So it's a little bit ahead of time for our group tonight, but it is something to keep in mind for students that over the next few years really get a specific desire to go into a medical related field or into an engineering related field.
Thanks, Dan. And as you speak, I think to the relevant coursework to our middle school students right now. So for those of you with 6th grade students, they're taking an exploratory course in Project Lead the Way called Medical Detectives, which is a biomedical engineering course where students they're becoming scientists in the classroom. And so they're really kind of getting that initial exposure to the medical field. And as they progress through the middle school experience, a lot of engineering coursework, automation and robotics, design and modeling, They'll take life sciences in 8th grade, either as living environment or just the regular 8th grade curricula. So really kind of getting exposure to, you know, the medical sciences and the engineering concepts, Dan, that would tie into some of those opportunities later into high school. So thank you. And we'll definitely also pass along your contact information. And like you said, the chat box is open, and we will have some questions towards the end. So I see actually a couple of folks from Early College Career Academy and PTech. And like I was saying before, I had an incredible opportunity to meet with some of them and see our programs and our students in action yesterday for a great presentation. And I see Gage and I see Michelle now. Hi, Michelle. Thank you for joining us, Madala. And Jennifer I still see her somewhere there. So I'm going to turn things over to you three. And again, if you have questions, please put them in the chat box or wait for the questions at the end. But without further hesitation, Early College Career Academy and PTech.
Sorry, hope everybody can see the screen. Give me a thumbs up if you can. Perfect. Okay. So my name's Jennifer Skechkowski. I'm the school counselor of the PTech and Early College Career Academy programs. I have with me 2 staff members. So if you have any questions while we're discussing, please feel free to put them in the chat and we'll try to answer them. And we can also answer them later. So really what our program is it's a partnership between WSWHE BOCES and SUNY Adirondack. And this is a program your students would sign into now. It's a 6-year program that contains a mix of college courses as well as career and technical education. And it incorporates both hands-on learning and work-based learning. So we're teaching students to one of 2 different career pathways specifically. And at the end of this program, it costs you nothing as a parent, and your students will earn college credits, recognized industry certifications, and dual credits towards their New York State graduation requirements. So I'm not going to play the video just because of time, but it is a 6-year program. In the first 2 years, which is when your student is in 9th and 10th grade, they are exploring. So they're doing different activities, as well as some summer camp options to determine if they like IT computer networking or advanced manufacturing. Then in years 3 and 4, this is the junior and senior year of high school. This is when the students start attending our program. So you'll spend a half a day at the college campus and a half a day at the high school. And I'll talk about that a little more later. And then years 5 and 6, you'll finish your college degree. So a 2-year college associate's degree. So just to put that into some perspective, we do have this visual. So like I said, it's a 6-year program that your students would sign into now. And in year 1 and 2, they would just explore. Year 3 and 4, they merge into our Early College Career Academy programs. That is a program that your students can sign on to in 10th grade. We still offer both the IT, computer networking, and advanced manufacturing options for students at that time. And we also offer new media and business and entrepreneurship. The only difference between the ECCA program and the PTech program is the 2 additional programs involved, new media and business, and that the PTech program allows your student to get the full associate's degree at no cost to you, while the Early College Career Academy program allows your student to get college credits while in the high school. So years 1 and 2, 9th and 10th grade, learning about advanced manufacturing and IT through 50 hours of bridge activities. And then the students will also get 2 college credits at summer camp doing challenge courses and leadership courses. So all we ask for our students during this time is that they stay on track for graduation and maintain good academic standing and attendance. However, being that Queensbury is a Project Lead the Way school, we also ask that any of our PTech students do participate in Project Lead the Way, because these courses do help set up a good foundation for our students to be successful once they join us in 11th and 12th grade. The bridge activities are 6 project-based activities towards either IT computer networking or advanced manufacturing, and they're designed to be fun and help students develop the skills and knowledge they need to be successful. They also help our students in 10th grade at the end of 10th grade determine which of the 2 pathways they want to follow, which is like I said, IT or advanced manufacturing. And the bridge activities run through the school year, so there's plenty of time both on Saturdays and after school for students to get these hours. Years 3 and 4, which is 11th and 12th grade, this is when the student chooses which of the 2 pathways they want to continue in. And then they start spending a half a day at the SUNY Adirondack College campus. So because you are at Queensbury, you would attend the Queensbury College campus. Our juniors come from 8 in the morning to 10:50 a.m. in the morning. And then our seniors come from 11 in the morning to 1:50 in the afternoon. So if your student's an athlete or does after school activities, they have plenty of time to get back so that they can participate in them. And your students have the opportunity to earn dual credits in our program once they reach this point. So that way they're earning credits towards New York State graduation requirements, and they don't have to double up on anything at their home school. So I'm going to let Mr. Simpson talk about advanced manufacturing since he is here, and then I will continue with IT computer networking.
All right, thank you. I think real quick, big picture, if you're interested in STEM, so the science, technology, engineering, math fields, signing up for P-Tech is a good idea because it will sign you up for a Project Lead the Way. And then that's the pathway towards many of the other programs that have been listed today. So, I'm sure Mr. Grieco will talk about it, but also Mr. Kittle already talked about, Project Lead the Way, leading into New Visions Engineering. So it's just a great way to start. You can get into P-Tech. We'll start teaching you the technology early. You're already in Project Lead the Way, and then all the doors are open. So if you want to stay in P-Tech, one of the opportunities you'll have is advanced manufacturing. So your junior year is where you will decide, do you want to do advanced manufacturing or IT networking? And advanced manufacturing is really the concept of automation. So, you're going to learn all the things of what it takes to put human logic and human senses into a machine, which is a robot. So, that's the big gist of it. And, I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of it. We'll teach you all those things in the first 2 years of the P-Tech, the Explore More section. But you can see there, you can get 27 college credits towards your associate's degree before you even graduate high school. And then through the P-Tech program, that is all covered to finish the mechatronics degree at no cost to you.
All right, so I'm going to talk about IT computer networking. So this program focuses more on coding, computer science, and more artificial intelligence. So in this program, our students get to earn up to 25 college credits before they leave high school, and then continue on to get their associate's degree. They get to earn their CompTIA industry certifications in the A+ hardware and A+ software certifications, and then they're working towards their CCNA certifications. Really, this program, they get to learn about the physical ins and outs of computer systems, how to fix and repair, take them apart. They learn about the hardware, software problems, so coding, how to make things speak to one another. They learn how to improve network performance and security, so how to prevent hacking, happening. So that's more cybersecurity based. And they learn also how to design the network infrastructure, so how to actually build the internet in the classroom. So what would happen is if your student did join our program and continued into the years 3 and 4, in their 4th year, which would be their senior year of high school, they would decide what they want to do moving forward. Our advanced manufacturing students would continue on to get an associate's degree in mechatronics. And then our IT and computer networking students can choose between IT computer networking or cybersecurity and earn an associate's degree in either of those 2 pathways. Real quick, we just do want to mention your student does receive academic support while on our campuses. So they have their school counselor at the home school district. They have myself as a school counselor, student success advisor, all our teachers and instructors, and really all the support systems between Queensbury, BOCES, and SUNY Adirondack. So if you have questions, you can put them in the chat, go talk to your school counselors, or you can email us at ecca-ptech@wswheboces.org. I will place that email in the chat as well as mine. And we thank you for letting us share.
Thank you again for that information. I want to again reiterate just the amazing trip that we had over to see the students in action and all of the outcomes of a phenomenal program, and just hearing the students present to us about what they're involved in, what they've gained from the programs, and just all the commitment that that has been made to bring together such a phenomenal partnership and program is one that's just been invaluable to our students. So thank you, and we'll keep sending Queensbury students your way.
I would like to say too, thank you to the staff, Jen and Gage and Michelle Medella. We're going to offer a career cafe on Thursday, January 27th, toward the end of the day, for students in 8th grade who want to explore this pathway. So I just wanted to put that out there for this forum, that if your student is in 8th grade considering P-TECH, wanting more information about the IT networking and advanced manufacturing programs, they should come to the Career Cafe. They would just sign up in the guidance office. They can email me or stop by, and we'd love to have them learn more about this pathway.
Okay. Oh, and I see the question was just answered about the early college career academy students not being mixed in with the general SUNY Adirondack students during the high school years. So thank you for answering that, Michelle. Okay, so I'm going to turn things over to Mr. Ben Greco now. You want to take it away, Ben?
Sure. Hang on one sec. Let me get.
Ben's going to talk about Project Lead the Way, PLTW.
That coming through.
Yep, I'm starting to see it now.
Let's see. I got some slow internet at my house, so. All right. Let's get this up. Good.
We can see it. Yep.
All right. Perfect. Thanks, everyone. And good evening. I guess the theme of the night, when we're looking at all the things we're talking about, is really how can we maximize our high school experience and find opportunities to get extra credit and gain those skills and certifications needed to be for later in life and for college. There are a ton of opportunities within our CTE department. And the first one that I want to talk to you about is Project Lead the Way. And Project Lead the Way is really, it's a pre-engineering program. It's a hands-on type of program where students can create and build and learn how to be engineers while also exploring engineering careers. We offer a lot of Project Lead the Way courses that really allow students to survey the engineering fields. There are a ton of different types of engineers, and we're really excited about this new class that we brought in specifically for the 8th graders into 9th grade, called Engineering Essentials. It's going to be our new foundation course where students get the opportunity to really explore different engineering fields. And then every unit, and I'm going to go over that in a minute, but every unit kind of ends in a current, like a disaster relief or something like that. So we'll take a look. For the students that are looking at P-TECH, we still recommend DDP. Sorry, I got distracted by that. We'll go back and look. So we're still offering the design and drafting for production. That course is a 3D modeling course where students really begin to learn engineering skills, how to draft, how to document, how to keep engineering notebooks. Once they get those foundation courses under their belt and they're progressing through high school, they can start looking at some of these other Project Lead the Way courses. So when they're in their 10th and 11th grade year, we have computer integrated manufacturing, principles engineering, and civil engineering and architecture. All of them are, fantastic engineering programs. In the SIM program, that's really that intersection of where robots and humans meet to make the things that we like and have. Principles engineering is a little bit more of the math behind engineering, and civil engineering and architecture is looking at not just how do we design buildings, but how do we design the grounds, the watershed, all of that that goes into the civil part. Our senior year, we have engineering design and development. That's our senior capstone course in Project Lead the Way. That entire year is spent developing a solution to student or team identified problem. Really, that is think of it more like a college level course where students are, they need to make decisions that are completely based on data. They have to gather data, research patents, talk to professionals, and come up with the ultimate solution. The fantastic thing with all of these courses, with exception of the senior capstone, is they all are, you can get college credit for it. So those college credits for each course, you get 3 RIT credits. They count as free credits, so they transfer into colleges that accept free credits. To qualify, the student needs to get what would be equivalent to a B on the national end of year assessment for the course and have an 85 in the 85 average in the course. But to do that, they get, for $225, they get 3 RIT credits. It's a fantastic deal. And if students do this every year, you can see if they, if they did it their freshman, sophomore, and junior years, now they're talking 9 credits that can transfer. And if they chose not to do that, that capstone course, they could get even another 3. But the capstone course is what we use for our graduation distinction. Now, I know there's a lot of words here. I don't want to read all these words, but this is our engineering essentials, and this is the entire unit outline for engineering essentials. And when we're looking at unit 1, you can see that we're kind of looking at the engineering part, like what do engineers do? What type of engineering options are available? We look at that system and that design process. And then that particular unit ends in some sort of natural disaster relief project where they use, create maps. Moving down, they get into machines, mechanical systems, what actually is a system, and then they try and solve a problem that would improve people's lives. The power it up gets into energy. And the unit 4 is the urban design. And then the students work in collaborative groups to develop a solution to the safety and well-being of citizens of a local community. So these are all student identified problems within that realm where they get to work as a team and try and build these skills. It's a really nice survey course where a student, likes engineering, but they don't know a lot about what engineers do. They don't know what engineering options are available. This is the course that they should take. DDP is the next one that we're going to talk about. The one thing about DDP that's really nice is DDP counts as the fine arts requirement. We recommend this for our P-Tech students. So if they're looking at P-Tech, we recommend DDP. DDP, you can see that's a typical, more of an end of class assignment for DDP, but you can see there's an expanded view there, an exploded view of a stapler. And so the student had to find a random object. They brought this object in, and then they had to model all of the parts and create an assembly. Within these processes, they keep detailed engineering notebooks. These are our pathways as a whole. So we talked about that top pathway, but we have a lot of other pathways. And again, I wanted to, emphasize that this is really a time where students get to explore their likes, find what they maybe would want to do in the future. So there's some really neat opportunities within our department, and the digital media pathway is one of those. The digital media pathway develops some of those computer skills needed in the workforce, but that's also what creates our morning show. We do a lot of like video editing type things in there. Our residential construction pathway, I'm going to talk a little bit more in a minute. 7th and 8th grade that have had Mr. DiCaprio have already experienced some of this carpentry, but moving into high school, we have other options to expand on it. So we recommend carpentry followed by residential construction. We've partnered with one of the residential construction unions. We'll talk about that in just a second, but students can earn enough preferential points to move ahead of a 4-year college graduate plus military experience. They essentially get bumped to the top of the list to be a carpenter's apprentice. And then we have the business pathways down a little bit lower. And you can see that all of the 9th grade options that are there, and that's why we're going over these. These are all available to 9th graders, but start talking about basic life things like career and personal finance. How do we, how do we know what interest is on a credit card? How do we buy a car? All things that everybody needs to know at some point. So let's learn it in school and let's learn it in 9th grade. Sports, entertainment, and marketing, everything Google. Just as a whole, I wanted to show you that we have 22 electives within the high school, the CTE department. There are a massive amount of opportunities. So again, I would encourage you to take a look and see what options are available that maybe you can mix in with your other core courses, capitalize on some college credit. We have a couple new ones that are that we're excited about. They're not available to ninth graders, but we do offer a SUNY accounting course and a SUNY financial management course. So it's kind of nice to start getting into that, maybe some of that business pathway, and then maximize those college credit opportunities. Looking at how everything progresses, I showed you all of those 4 strands before, but if students receive 2.5 credits in any one of those 4 strands, they get a Technology Academy sealed on their diploma. If students complete our Project Lead the Way program, which includes 2 Project Lead the Way courses plus the Engineering Design and Development course, they get this special distinction medal to, yes, I was gonna, sorry, Chris, I see your thing there. I'll post it in the chat as soon as we're done. They'll get this capstone graduation distinction to wear. And one of the last things I want to talk to you about, and I just touched on it briefly, is just our partnership with the Northeast Carpenters Union, the pathways to apprenticeship. So students that have started developing those skills in 7th and 8th grade, now they can get into carpentry. In carpentry, they get their OSHA 10 certification, which is a certification that's valid for life. Then they have the option to move into residential construction. And if they want us to add them to that apprenticeship list, we can actually do that. Oh, and then lastly, you can see there the Alfred State and Wentworth College. That is one nice thing about this partnership, is if the students, after they complete their apprenticeship, if they would like to go on to something like a project manager type position, the Carpenters Union will actually pay for their college, both through Alfred State and Wentworth. And I always put in a plug for innovations. I encourage you to think about innovations. It's a passion-based course, and students can really take any idea that they have and work towards a solution. So if they're interested in skateboarding or skiing or some sort of sports or music, art, whatever the case may be, and for time, I'm not going to play this amazing video right here, but it's, if you think about, you know, what could you do if you could just build, design, organize, produce anything you want, and then Mr. Grieco will buy you all the supplies to do it. That's what happens in the innovations room. So I encourage you to kind of explore those passion-based interests in there. And that's what I have. Let me add this to the chat.
Thank you. And also this entire Google Meet is being recorded, so you'll be able to see the slides. We'll put this up on our website as soon as I can connect with our communications department. Thank you, Ben. Really appreciate that. I just wanted to, if I could present my screen now, I want to just go through just a few more programs before we open it up for some general questions. Also, throw your questions in the chat, and we might be able to address them there. I just want to show you a few other slides that we discussed with our students about programs. Now, can somebody unmute and make sure that that I'm projecting the slide that says BOCES program CTE? Can everybody see that?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. And in fact, I got to sample some phenomenal food from our culinary arts students over at BOCES yesterday. But beginning in 11th grade, there are some phenomenal career and technical education programs available to our students over in Hudson Falls BOCES program. So continuing with the coursework at Queensbury, and then over at the BOCES program, and going into one of these trades, earning industry certifications, taking advantage of opportunities to showcase their skills at national, regional, local, and national competitions potentially, and just a phenomenal work environment. We were over there watching a group of kids working on some heavy diesel equipment, and just really making their mark in whatever industry they want to be involved in. We see students working in the early childhood education programs, cosmetology. All these are available to our students. So we talked a little bit about that as well. We also talked about how we have a phenomenal arts program, and it starts, well, really it starts in kindergarten, but in the middle school setting, it starts with our 10-week rotations where students are taking art, traditional art course, and then also a digital media or new media arts class where they're learning digital design, animation, video production, some minor coding, progressing to 7th grade art and possibly studio and art, and then all these opportunities to progress through the art opportunities that are available in our high school. Additionally, in our music department, we have a lot of opportunities to continue with performance, whether it be chorus, orchestra, or band. But also we showed our students some of the other really neat courses where we're using technology. And some of these, it's interesting because we'll see some of these kids making music on GarageBand on the app on their phones and things. And just really seeing the connection between technology and music production in a music production class, an enjoyment of music class, which is kind of an extension from the general music courses that we offer in 6th grade and 8th grade here to really make those unique experiences for our students in music, and then taking into music theory and composition and music history through the IB music courses, and then obviously continuing with our choral, orchestra, and band, and all the other opportunities for small groups, select groups that are offered in music. So we spent about an hour talking with our students about all of these. And I know it's very easy. I'm sure you all have memorized ECCA, DDP, PLTW, IB, PTEC, BOCE, CTE. All those acronyms that just can fly off your tongue now, I'm sure. But we joke with the students too, saying, okay, especially in 6th grade, you're going to hear a little bit more about this each year. You'll get deeper and deeper and deeper. We want you to make informed decisions as students, and parents, we want to help you make informed decisions on helping to guide your child through their educational path here at Queensbury. And we're so thankful for the partnerships that we have with our area colleges and businesses and BOCES. And it's an amazing opportunity that we give to our families here in Queensbury. There is an actual video that I'm going to link as well that shows all of those BOCES CTE programs. It's about a 7-minute long video that really kind of showcases, brings to life what the students are actually doing on a day in, day out basis. But they would have been here, and if we weren't in COVID times, they would be here with showcasing all of those programs. Students, Queensbury students in the high school in the BOCES programs would be here showcasing all of those, but due to COVID, but also due to the fact that they're having their open house tonight. So they couldn't join us, but it's a phenomenal partnership, and it's a great opportunity for so many of our Queensbury students to be involved in all of these pathways. So that said, we've got a good 10 minutes or so before we're going to keep our 8th grade parents to talk about high school registration. So let's see, let's first go through the chat and see if there are any questions. Aaron had a question. Let's see. If there is a PTEC student taking a Project Lead the Way course, can they earn college credit for that too? When is the fee typically due? Yikes, so, I'm gonna need that to go ahead.
Yeah, so Aaron, absolutely. The credit through the high school Project Lead the Way is completely separate than the opportunities through the PTEC program. The way it works is parents will be notified with their report card, the 4th quarter report card. So at the end of the year, they'll be notified whether or not they have met the requirements to earn college credit. At that time, we send all of the information to Project Lead the Way, to the RIT person at Project Lead the Way. And typically it's due, I think it's October of that same year. So you have, about a 5-month window, maybe 4 or 5-month window.
Great. All right, let's see. What about students who have a creative flair for the dramatic arts, journalism, et cetera? I do know, I'm looking up we actually have a college writing class, I believe, that is a higher level writing. I'm not sure if that's specific to journalism. Ms. Sprague, do you have some more details? I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, it's okay. That's okay. We have, like Mr. Brannigan said, we have some higher level English classes. We offer actually SUNY 101 and SUNY 109, which are SUNY Adirondack College credit bearing English classes for that higher level writing style. We also offer higher level arts courses through our IB program. We don't have specific journalism classes yet. You never know what can happen down the road, but we do have an after school club with our school newspaper called the Spartan Scoop. So that has been resurrected over these last few years and is growing. We have a ton of students who are offering creative writing pieces for the Scoop. Lots of happenings at the high school, lots to write about. So that's been a great creative outlet for a lot of our students.
Excellent. So we can abandon the, oh wait, no, wait, we have one for Kelly. I was gonna say we can abandon the chat and actually just go ahead and raise our hands. But Kelly, let's see, which one of these would be best for someone interested in medical science, something that could be used in the military after a degree? So I think back to the, like I was saying about the 6th grade experience where they're really starting to get to understand the biomedical sciences. They're becoming scientists. They're exploring, ironically, the curricula has students exploring viruses and tumors and working kind of collaboratively with their teammates to solve medical mysteries. And that progresses through the life sciences in 8th grade and on into the high school where, again, they're taking anatomy, physiology, those types of things, right? Marnie, you're also the science department chairperson. So if you're still there, is there anything else that you want to chime in with regards to medical science?
So we encourage our students who are interested in pursuing anything in the health field or engineering to take our most rigorous science courses. And you can take those in conjunction with the Project Lead the Way courses, or you can take IB courses a la carte. But we always tell students who, if they say they're interested in going into the health fields, to take as much chemistry as you can. So we offer students, we have IB high level chemistry, and that is the most rigorous chemistry course we have. We also have IB high level bio and standard level bio, and we offer IB physics and SUNY physics. So we do encourage them to get through the chemistry, because we always say, like, that's the hard class to get through if you're a pre-med in college. It's not bio, it's the chem. So take as much chemistry as you can in high school when you have the support of having a teacher and, you know, you're still at home and you have your parents, and those are the recommendations we make for students who are interested in those fields. I saw somebody asked a question about,
Greta, I see one on there.
okay,
but-
yes, thank you, Mr. Diet. Brady took IB classes in high school and learned so much. Yes, you do not have to do the full diploma program. Thank you so much for mentioning that. That's the one thing. We get the most feedback from our students who have taken IB courses after they leave high school. Then they come back and they say, I was so prepared for college. These were the classes that taught me how to write that paper that I have to write. These were the classes that taught me how to study, how to manage my time. So we get a lot of feedback from kids that are already in college, and you don't have to do the full diploma program. You can just choose to do IB art, or can just choose to do IB English. Yep.
Great. Jennifer, would you mind just talking a little bit about the Early College Career Academy, the New Media Arts, maybe some courses that would be recommended for 9th or 10th graders? Maybe Colleen chime in on that as well, and what specific requirements or what you're looking for to get into that program?
Yeah, absolutely. So for the business and new media programs we offer in our Early College Career Academy, we're really looking for students that are motivated, have good attendance, and are self-driven and interested, obviously, in the field that they are pursuing. Our students don't have to, they can be that middle ground student. A lot of times we get students that maybe don't like high school and actually come to our program and thoroughly enjoy it because they're doing what they love. They get, in new media, they get access to digital arts, photography, design, things like that. And they also get access to English and science certifications. Our business students get access to accounting, math. They also get their economics credits as well through our program. And then our advanced manufacturing and IT computer networking students get math, science credits, whether it's in chemistry or computer science, English. So all of our students get a variety of credits in our program that aren't just specifically in their fields. They also take college math, college English, college science, and they are actual college courses. So the courses that these student takes do go on the transcript at SUNY Adirondack. They do stay with your student for the rest of your life. They can be utilized to either continue on into the associate's degree pathway. We've had students take the certifications associated with it and go right into the working force or the military. And then we've also had students finish the 2-year degree and continue on to 4 and 6-year colleges after that. So a lot of different options for the students in our program, but really just looking for that student that wants to be there more than anything.
Excellent. Thank you. We have a question about if a student wants to study architecture, which pathway is best, or what series of courses? Anyone want to tackle that one?
Yeah. I mean, I would say that as far as architecture goes, Greta, there isn't necessarily a specific pathway for that, but within the Project Lead the Way program, we do offer architecture. I think when it comes to architecture, just developing those documenting skills that are very similar to what we learn in Project Lead the Way, being able to document, being able to communicate drawings and plans. I think it's more about developing those skills specifically. So, and then, like I said, we have a civil engineering and architecture course.
Okay.
There was one more on there as far as forensics too. We don't have, and I'm sure Colleen can jump in or Marnie on this one, but we don't have a specific program for forensics either. But I would say that you need to kind of mix in both your science and we have some courses. I mean, we offer a forensics course in the high school, correct? And then, within the business department, we have a personal law course and a business law course. So I would say probably survey some of those courses to get that background in sciences.
Yeah, we have forensics as an elective. But for any of the applied sciences, you're going to want to get your basic sciences down too, because to get a forensics degree, you got to take biochem and physics. So we encourage kids to take those and then take a few electives that you're passionate about, and forensics is one of those ones that we have.
I'm seeing a few questions about distinctions between P-Tech and Early College Career Academy, and then also some about the New Visions program. I think Dan, you summed it up correctly with the engineering question with New Visions. Again, that's a program for seniors, right? For the last year in high school, last year's in high school. So, and it's really geared towards, and it's a select group, right? There's not a lot. It's kind of a competitive approach for those opportunities within the engineering and the medical fields. So the P-Tech and Early College Career Academy, there's kind of some intersections there. But we do have the P-Tech program that actually starts in 8th grade. So if your child is an 8th grader, again, we have that 8th grade information session on January 27th. Mrs. Sullivan has some more details, but I didn't know, Jennifer, if you wanted to offer any other distinctions between the two, or things that, an 8th grade parent would need to know, because right now a 6th and a 7th grade parent, again, it's to continue to take the rigorous coursework that we have at the middle level. And then really, as you're starting to look at high school course registration, which is January of your 8th grade year, is when you really start looking at the divergent path of the P-Tech program at the end of 8th grade year. So anything else that you wanted to offer for that?
Just that both New Visions Engineering and our program students have moved on to engineering pathways at 4-year colleges. So as Mr. Kittle was saying, like, that program does definitely direct students right into a 4-year college program. But it is offered only in 12th grade, and it's a competitive program to get into. Ours is pretty competitive as well, but ours starts in 8th grade. It does focus more on mechatronics and electrical technology, those kind of areas, but it does provide the foundations for a lot of students for engineering. We've had students go to RIT, Clarkson, various engineering colleges around our area for those degrees.
All right, thank you. And I just full disclosure, I had never heard of the phrase mechatronics until I went to yesterday and saw the, went and visited ECCA. So I learned a little bit about the transition with that terminology as well. But a lot of great information. And I know that there's a lot that's probably left on your mind with questions, but I just want to give a thanks to everyone who represents the programs that came here tonight. We have contact information. Reach out to your child's grade level counselor, Mrs. Carnavala, Mr. Hammond, Mrs. Sullivan. Also, Ms. Sprague is a great resource at the high school, and we have great program directors here and teachers involved in this presentation tonight. So thank you all. We really appreciate it. The presentation will be up on our website at some point. I'll probably be sending something out in my Friday memo to all families this Friday with further direction towards the pathways. But at this time, we're going to ask that our 8th grade and only our 8th grade families stay online because we want to get your child ready for high school. So thank you everybody else for your attendance. We really appreciate it. Stay warm, have a good rest of your evening, and we'll stick around with the 8th grade parents.
I'm going to give it a couple minutes. I'm going to, while we're waiting, I'm just going to share my screen here for our 8th to 9th grade parent presentation.
Yeah, we can't give away any of the 8th grade secrets. We need to
I
make
know.
sure just the 8th
They
grade.
have to wait. They have to wait till they get there. It's top secret information. Okay, well, we can rock and roll here. Hi, everyone. I'm Colleen Sprague. I am the school counselor at the high school. I work with students with the last names A and C. And I'm also the K-12 counseling department chair. For 9 years, I was at the middle school. So I see a lot of familiar faces out there. I miss seeing your students every day. We can't wait to welcome them to QHS. So welcome so much welcome so much. Thank you so much and welcome to tonight's 8th to 9th grade parent program. We call it Freshman Year 101. This is a very, very brief overview of what you can expect and what life at the high school is like. And all of our 8th grade students will be going over this presentation in their science classes tomorrow with 8th grade school counselor Michelle Sullivan and myself. We'll be streaming into classrooms via Google Meet. And we'll be going over all of our course selection materials, how to select classes for 9th grade, what credits mean and how many credits they need to graduate, and all that fun stuff. So tonight we're going to be doing a brief overview. We're going to explain the counselor breakdown at QHS. We're going to look at a block schedule and a sample schedule and how it's different from QMS to QHS. We're going to briefly discuss graduation requirements and diploma types. We'll review 9th grade course selections and some of the options students have, and then we'll go over some upcoming dates and timelines. So to kick things off here, meet your new school counselor. So at the high school, it is a little different than how we structure things at the middle school. You're used to having a counselor per grade level who stays with your student throughout their entire time at the middle school. At the high school, we stay with your student throughout their entire time at the high school, but we work with students based on their last name. So we're split up by alphabet. So like I said, I work with students with the last names A and C. Mr. Diamond works with students with the last names D through H. He also works with any Global Scholar students that we have and any English language learner students that we have. Mrs. Dunn works with students with the last names I through M and any of our IB COSER students, so students from other school districts who actually come to Queensbury to take IB courses. Mrs. Dunn would work with them. Mr. Sullivan works with students with the last names N through S. No relation to Mrs. Sullivan, but it's kind of cool how we have a Mrs. Sullivan at the middle school and a Mr. Sullivan at the high school. And lastly, we have Mrs. Nyhart, who works with students with the last names B and T through Z. So let's talk about the schedule. So just as you're getting used to the crazy middle school 6-block rotation, drop a class, 3 out of 4 day schedule, you just got it down after almost 3 years. We're going to change it up on you, and we are going to go to a 4-block schedule. There's no rotation at the high school, and essentially our classes are every other day. So the courses don't meet on different blocks depending on the letter day. It's whatever block that class is that block always. Just depends on the letter day. So we have a 4-day rotation as opposed to a 6-day rotation. If you remember last year, we had a 16-day rotation, which is just absolutely crazy. I don't want to go back to those COVID times. But our blocks here at the high school are a little bit longer than at the middle school. So at the middle school, our students are used to about an hour of instruction. And at the high school, our students work for about 80 minutes in their block classes. Block 3 is a little bit longer because it includes lunch. So our students would go to their block 3 class. Maybe they have first lunch, so they would go to lunch first and then go back to their block 3 class for the remainder of the time. If they have either of the 2 middle lunches, that time would be split. So you would go to class, then break for lunch, and then go back to class for the remaining time. And if you have our last lunch, very similar to what our 8th graders have now, I believe, right? They have last lunch, Mr. Brannigan, 8th grade? Yeah. So you go to your block 3 class for the 86 minutes, and then you break for lunch and then go on to block 4. So the nice thing about our schedule is we end a little bit earlier than the middle school. We start a little bit earlier, but we end earlier. And we have this really cool thing called activity period. So all of our teachers are after school until 2:40. Our day ends at 2 o'clock. So students have from 2 to 2:40 to meet with a teacher for extra help, catch up on homework. If they miss a class for an appointment or a music lesson, they can stop in and see their teacher during that time. And then sports wouldn't start till 3. So if your student is involved in an athletic team, they still have a good chunk of time to change and get out to the field or into the gym or over to the pool. So it's a nice feature with our schedule, and we really encourage students to take advantage of that activity period. Teachers are great about offering extra help or being around if they have any questions. And our clubs and activities are also during this time. So if students wanted to be a member of the Key Club, that they could stay for the Key Club and still be able to participate in their sporting event as well. Here's an example of a sample high school schedule. You'll see here we have our 4 days, so A, B, C, and D. And you'll see that our A and C days are very similar to our B and D days. So essentially your courses are every other day. So if you have English on block 1 on an AC day, it's always block 1 on an AC day. On a BD day, you might have math block 1. The only courses that don't meet every other day would be our physical education course is once every 4 days. So you'll see it on here on D day, it's in block 3. And opposite that PE, what fills that spot is our lab science. So sciences at the high school have a lab component per New York State regulations. So your regular biology class might meet on AC days, but you have an additional lab period that meets on B days. So that's a little bit different than if you were in Science 8 right now. If you're currently in biology in 8th grade, you would go on to Earth Science, and that would also have a lab component. So you're already used to that, having additional lab time.
So I would also, want to note that for students that are in both band and chorus, right, or orchestra and chorus, that's another exception. One of those performance groups would meet on a B day and the other on a D day. So your student is able to combine and take both the a chorus with a orchestra and chorus with a band, and it's scheduled that way. They would receive basically a half a credit for chorus and a half a credit for band, and it splits a block.
Correct. Yes, yes. We want everyone to be able to stay in their performance music groups if that's something that they're interested in. So one thing that's a little bit new to students at the high school is their transcript. So a high school transcript is a one-page document that shows all of the courses that they've taken, what their grade in that course was, and what credit they've earned. Students start taking high school credit-bearing courses as early as 8th grade. Every student takes algebra at the middle school, so they take a high school level credit-bearing course in math. Most of our students take foreign language in 8th grade, and that would be high school credit bearing as well. Some of our students, like we talked about before, are in biology, and that is also high school credit bearing. And a small number of our students are enrolled in studio art at the middle school, which is high school credit bearing. So a transcript is an official document that shows all of your high school credit bearing courses that you've taken throughout your time at Queensbury. So even though you've taken these courses in the middle school, they would still be reflected on your transcript. And when we start talking about applying to colleges, I don't want to rush anyone here. You know, we just started talking about your transition to high school, but we will talk a lot more about the importance of your transcript. The transcript is what's submitted on your behalf to colleges and universities when you apply to schools. Transcripts might also be used for merit-based scholarships. So we're talking any type of scholarship amount that you might be awarded for the colleges or universities that you are going to. We have just made an update to our high school transcript as early as this year. And we now include, when we submit to colleges and universities, we include both an unweighted GPA or grade point average and a weighted GPA for classes that students take with the potential for college credit bearing coursework. So any IB coursework, any AP coursework, those courses are weighted at 0.02% on the weighted GPA because they are a lot more rigorous than the typical high school course. So we want that to be reflected on students' transcripts to benefit them when they apply for colleges or merit-based scholarships. So we will talk a lot more about the high school transcript once students are actually over here at the high school and are thinking about colleges or universities or post-high school planning. So a quick overview of graduation requirements. All students need 22 credits to graduate from high school in New York State. Now, they can't just take 22 credits in art or 22 credits in physical education. As much as they probably would like to do all of those fun classes, the state does require students to take a certain amount of credits in certain courses. So listed here, you'll see students must take 4 credits in English, 4 credits in social studies, at least 3 credits in math for New York State. Queensbury High School does require that students take math all 4 years of high school. So if they're taking high school level algebra in 8th grade, they could technically fulfill those 3 New York State graduation requirements by the end of their 10th grade year. But we require students to continue on. So we have lots of math electives and higher level math courses for students to challenge themselves and take. Same thing with science. New York State requires 3 credits. If students are looking at going on to college or universities, schools do want to see that you are challenging yourself in coursework and taking science electives all throughout your time at high school once you satisfy those 3 graduation requirements. All students must achieve 2 full credits of physical education, so it's half a credit every year. 0.5 in your 9th grade year, 10th grade year, 11th grade, and 12th grade. Students must have at least 1 credit in the fine arts. So it doesn't necessarily have to be art if you're not an artist, or music if you're not a musician. We have certain courses that satisfy that fine arts requirement, which we'll talk about in a minute. Students must achieve at least 1 credit in foreign language for the Regents Diploma. They must achieve 3 credits in foreign language if they're looking at the Advanced Regents Diploma. And students must also have at least a half credit of health. So every student takes health before they graduate. You won't be able to cross the stage at the Civic Center without taking that health credit. We also require what we call a 4+1 pathway for Regents exams. So students must have a total of 5 Regents exams to achieve their New York State diploma. So it's at least 1 science, 1 math, 1 social studies, 1 English, and then we have the one alternative. So you could have your global Regents and your US history Regents in addition to algebra, English, and biology. Now, New York State has, with COVID, has been exempting students from Regents exams if they do not offer Regents exams due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So for example, we were supposed to have January Regents next week, and New York State canceled those Regents exams. So students who were needing to take those Regents exams to achieve that Regents credit will have an exemption on their transcript. So hopefully we're moving away now out of this, where students can get back to a little bit of normalcy with our Regents exams with COVID, but you never know with the state, so we just wait and see. Here's a list of all of the diploma types that New York State has. The 2 that we focus the most on are our Regents or Advanced Regents Diploma. So with the Regents Diploma, you must have obviously a 65 to pass, 22 credits to graduate. You only need that 1 credit of foreign language. The Advanced Regents Diploma has a few more requirements for it. So students must have at least 3 credits of foreign language. And they also have some additional Regents exams, which are listed there. There are alternative pathways for students if they are not successful in foreign language. They can still achieve that Advanced Regents Diploma through alternative pathways, such as a 5-credit sequence in art, music, or technology. So we talk about that with students if they are not looking to continue foreign language at the high school. We discuss what their future plans are and alternative ways that they can achieve that Advanced Regents Diploma if that is a goal of theirs. All the way to the right, we have our International Baccalaureate Diploma, which is separate from New York State, and that's if you're enrolled in the full diploma program that Mrs. DeJean was talking about earlier tonight. That is a separate diploma to New York State. Students would obviously achieve their New York State Advanced Regents Diploma if they were in the IB program as well. Okay, so let's talk about selecting courses for high school. So tomorrow, all of your students are going to come home with this book. You can see it. It's our curriculum handbook. And this is a comprehensive guide to everything that we're talking about tonight: graduation requirements, courses that you can take, what students need to take in order to graduate New York State. And it also has a list of every single course that we offer by subject with a brief description about each course. So become very familiar with this book. If for some reason your student does not come home with it, or if they're absent, they will get a copy. If they lose it, just let us know. We always have extras. We want everyone to have a hard copy of this because it's such a great resource. So this curriculum handbook has details on graduation requirements, all of the academic information like we talked about, any prerequisite or co-requisite. So a prerequisite is a course that you must take first in order to take another course. So for example, in our art department, a lot of students are interested in our drawing classes, but we have studio art as a prerequisite to our drawing 1 class. So students must take studio art first before they take drawing 1. And then it explains also what is the difference between an elective class and a core class, and how many core classes students should be registering for. So the maximum amount of credits that students can take in 9th grade, well, in high school at all, is 7.5. Our 9th graders specifically, they have limited amount of wiggle room with what they can really take based on the requirements that we want to see them get out of the way in 9th grade to open up their schedules for more courses that they're interested in, as opposed to the classes that they have to take. So in 9th grade for English, students can either take our Regents level English, which is our regular English course, or 9H, which is honors. AIS, or Academic Intervention Services, also might be scheduled for students based on their MAP test scores. So students will continue to take the MAP test throughout their 9th grade year at the high school as well. In social studies, all students take global. They take Global 1 in 9th grade, and they'll take Global 2 in 10th grade. And that will culminate in a Regents exam at the end of 10th grade. Students in science class will take biology if they're not already currently enrolled in biology as an 8th grader, or earth science. If they are taking biology as an 8th grader, they'll go into earth science, and both have a lab associated with that. In math, everyone will go on from algebra into geometry, but we have different levels of math at the high school. So we have Geometry A, which is broken down over 2 years. So it's a little bit slower paced, breaks down the concepts in more detail. So if students maybe struggle in math or need a more supportive math environment, this might be the better math class for them to take. We have our Geometry R class, which is our regular Regents class over 1 year. And then we have our Geometry Honors course. And for our 4 core courses, really for English and geometry, students have already been recommended for the course that their teachers feel would best fit or best suit them next year. Math in particular, we really, the recommendation is really just, it's a snapshot of maybe where they stand right now, but we make a final determination at the end of the year based on their final grade and their Regents score, assuming that there is a Regents this year in June. All students have to take physical education. We do recommend that they continue with their foreign language at least until the end of 10th grade. If they're not recommended to continue with foreign language, we would discuss that with them in their planning conference that they'll have with Mrs. Sullivan throughout February, March, and April. And then we look to get students enrolled in their fine arts requirements, so that art or music requirement that's required by New York State. So specific classes would qualify for that fine arts requirement. So even though a student might be interested in taking pottery, pottery does not satisfy the fine arts requirement. So only the courses listed here would satisfy that fine art requirement for New York State. So in our technology department, we have our Project Lead the Way Design and Drawing for Production course. So that is the hands-on technology course that Mr. Grieco spoke about earlier. That course does fulfill the New York State Fine Arts requirement. We also have Studio Art. We have Enjoyment of Music, which is a general music course. And then we have our performance groups, band, chorus, or orchestra. So all of those are a full year and offer a full credit towards that fine arts requirement. We also have some half-year options. So you would have to take at least 2 of these courses listed because they're half a credit each. So students could take a combination of interior design, fashion design, digital design, and introduction to architectural drawing. And again, all of the descriptions for all of these courses and what they're all about will be coming home tomorrow in this book that students will receive. So really in 9th grade, we look for students to obviously fulfill their core classes, but also to try to get that health requirement out of the way and their fine arts requirement out of the way. Because the last thing we want is for a student to really want to get into one of these pathways programs in 11th grade, and then they get blocked out or they aren't eligible because it can't fit in their schedule with some requirements that they still have that they could have gotten taken care of in 9th grade. So we want to set students up for success early on in 9th grade. Okay, so Mrs. Sullivan, do you want to run through what we're going to be doing with students in for course selections in science class?
Absolutely. So this presentation will be given to all students tomorrow. If we have a student who is absent and not in science tomorrow, I will schedule a makeup session for students so that they get this information too, as well as their materials. So tomorrow, students are going to receive that curriculum handbook that we've talked about. In addition, every student will receive a form, a course selection form for 2022-2023. And it's already, it has some selections already checked off, and those are the core classes that we discussed earlier in this presentation. So they're English, their math, everybody takes global history, their science, PE, and foreign language if that's recommended to continue. So that's already reflected on their sheet. And then there is room to, consider their fine arts credit if they're not already taking studio and art this year. They'll be satisfying that next year, and other electives including band, chorus, and orchestra, or art, business, technology. So we'll be guiding students tomorrow in terms of their selections. There's a Google form that students will have access tomorrow. It's posted in my Google Classroom that they were asked to join during their science classes over the last couple of days. And so this is tentative. It's just an opportunity for students to reflect on, kind of where they're at, what they're thinking they're going to want to pick in terms of their electives. And again, they're then going to take home these materials, review the green form, and complete. There's a backside to this form. So we want you to have some dialogue at home as families regarding some career interests and identifying if maybe one of these pathways is resonating, which one, or maybe a couple. But parents should be signing this form, sending it back with their student. They are due back in the counseling center by January 25th. I need these materials back because I will be collating them and meeting with students in small groups for their planning conferences. We'll be reviewing how many credits they're going to be achieving this year based on their coursework, in addition to their interests, and formalizing their course requests in School Tool. So again, a student can have a maximum of 7.5 credits. They have a minimum of 5.5 credits required. So we'll be considering things like whether this, your students are wanting to have a study hall or not. By and large, a lot of students do maximize their credits in the high school, aiming for 6.5, 7, or 7.5 credits, because they're just taking 4 classes a day. So it doesn't feel so overwhelming when they're every other day courses.
Yeah, I can say that if I have a 9th grader who's at 5.5 credits, we're going to be having a conversation over the summer, because you do not need all that free time, especially as a 9th grader. An 80-minute study hall is a very, very long time. So we will do everything we can to get that health and fine arts requirements satisfied, and any of our amazing electives that we have for students to take, so that you're making the most of your high school experience. Because again, 80 minutes is just too much free time for students. So we want you to be able to be maximizing all the opportunities that we have up here.
Yeah, so those planning conferences are actually beginning soon. That last week in January, I'll begin the small group meetings. If as a parent you would like to be part of your child's meeting, you may request an individual meeting in lieu of the small group meeting that I have already scheduled. But I want to note, we have this in bold on the bottom here, May 6th is the cutoff. So, perhaps during a planning meeting, a student selects, a certain elective, and then a few weeks later has a change of heart or has some dialogue with a teacher and decides to, pursue a different direction. I just need to know before May 6th, and I can make that change. After May 6th, the high school's pretty firm. It gets locked in, and we're really unable to make changes. The one arena that we'll review again at the end of the school year would be the math. We're going to look at students' overall averages in algebra combined with their performance on their regents to make sure that we have the placements right. We want students to be challenged but not overwhelmed. So we do a little adjusting at the end of the school year when we get those regents results and final averages.
Any of our students in a resource room or a learning lab, we do also offer those programs at the high school, and we'll also have a conversation during your annual reviews through the CSE to make sure that everybody's on the same page as well. So if your child is enrolled in any of those courses right now at the middle school, we'll make sure that it's in line with their needs so that they're best supported.
So when your student is coming in for their small group planning conference, I just ask that they bring their Chromebook with them, that they're on time. We will be issuing passes to remind them about their appointment on the day of their appointments. We want students to come. I want them to, be ready to participate, to ask questions, to feel, supported. So it's an exciting time. Students enjoy having a little more say in their schedule and really starting to consider their, their future. And then, just one more reminder, if your student is considering P-TECH to, to please sign up in the Counseling Center for the student 8th grade career cafe that we're going to have on January 27th. In addition, go to the website to sign up for one of the virtual information sessions that are scheduled for February 8th or February 10th. And I want you to reach out to me with any questions about the high school course selection and planning process, or P-TECH, or your students' performance this year.
Okay, do we have a question in the chat? Let's see. I'm hearing health is being offered over the summer. So sometimes health is offered over the summer for students who can't fit it into their schedule or who need it for certain credit purposes. Typically, it's not an option for 8th to 9th grade for students, but we could possibly offer it for students who need it in order to fit other coursework for whatever reason if they couldn't fit it in. So that's a case-by-case basis typically, and it just depends on what the situation is, and we go over it with our admin for approval.
So it's a little bit after 8 o'clock, and we want to thank you, for participating. It is an exciting time of year. Do you have any questions for the full group? If you have questions specific to your child, feel free to reach out to me and I'll follow up with you. But any general questions for us tonight?
I know that the transition to the high school is extremely overwhelming. I remember when this cohort transitioned over from WHBI. It was not that long ago. They were getting their team assignments and coming over on the bus. So I promise we will take very good care of them at the high school. We'll have more information coming out over the summer about freshman orientation, how they get their new Chromebook, how they get their schedule, how they find their classes, all that good stuff. So we will take very good care of them. They have a brand spanking new building over here with lots of bells and whistles. So we're excited to have them.
It's beautiful.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Sullivan and Ms. Sprague.
No problem.
We still have 54 folks here, so now's the time. Any questions?
Any questions? You can put it in the chat or you can unmute if you have any questions.
I will send reminders out to students via the Google Classroom that they've been asked to join. I think just about every student has joined at this point, so that's great.
Hi, Sorry, I'm driving, so I can't turn on my video, but it's
Hi, Greta.
Hi. How does somebody get into the honors classes?
So
For-
honors for English, we have recommendations that came in from the department, from students' current English teachers. It is open enrollment when we're talking about English honors. So if your student was tentatively recommended for Regents, but wants the challenge of the honors coursework, your student may, make that change on the course selection form, and we'll make that, that switch in school tool here. It is a little more rigorous. There is summer, curriculum, work and reading assigned, and anyone in the honors program will be given that, the information, the overview, and the materials at the end of this school year. So it is open enrollment. We want students to feel challenged, but not overwhelmed. Any student that's intending, kind of interested in like the IB or AP honors level coursework should certainly try honors English.
Mm-hmm.
And then the math is really depending on, for geometry honors, we look at the data. We're going to look at a student's final average in algebra, in addition to score on the algebra Regents exam at the end of the school year. So if a student has an 85 on the Regents, they're eligible for the honors, geometry, or a 90 average in algebra with an 80 or better on the Regents exam. That's the criteria as I understand it.
So Maria's question with regards to when will families and students know about honors recommendations and placements, that would be in the summer when the Regent scores come back?
Well, and so right now on their course selection form that they're receiving tomorrow, it's going to be checked off what they've been tentatively recommended for. And again, English is open enrollment. And so if a student was recommended for honors, but wants the challenge, or Regents, but wants the challenge of honors, they may select that. And similarly, if you were recommended for honors and you do not want that placement, we'll discuss that and we'll change it to Regents. The math is really reviewed again at the end of the school year when we have those data points to look at, and adjustments are made.
So students will see their recommendations tomorrow when we do the course selection presentation with their science classes.
Great questions.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any other questions? Going once, going twice. Please
We're not
don't
going anywhere, so feel free to reach out at any point if you think of something after the fact or didn't want to ask it in front of the group.
And this will all be up on the website and or in my Friday memo this week. So stay tuned.
Thank you so much for coming tonight. We appreciate
Yeah, thank you.
It was a great turnout.
Yes. Yes, we're excited to have all of your students at the high school. Can't wait to see them.
But I get them for half a year.
Yeah. I won't rush it, I promise.
No, savor it every day. All right.
All right. If there's
Thank
no
you.
other questions, I'll end the meet then. Okay.
Okay. Thank
Good
you.
night,
All right.
everyone. Thank you very
Bye,
much.
everybody. Thank you.